What is this, Bernard?
It doesn't look like anything to me.
Imagine this. One day you wake up surprised. You never knew this was going to happen. You never knew that a food that you grew up with, that you loved, would turn out to be one of the key foods keeping you weak, tired, and chronically ill. Enter the peanut butter sandwich. Some of you eat them with jelly, some with honey or bananas, some with marshmallow fluff, or even, a Midwest favorite, a slice of American cheese. Some of you might have had them on a daily basis. You had them for lunch, on picnics, or at Little League baseball games. Unless you're allergic, in which case you can probably skip this video altogether. I've been eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches on a pretty much daily basis for years until about a year ago when I decided to stop eating them entirely. Since then, over 365 days and counting, everything has changed. I was putting between 4 to 6 tablespoons of peanut butter on whole wheat bread at least once a day. The peanut butter I chose was organic, made with only peanuts, peanut oil, and salt. And despite eating what I assumed to be a healthy diet and exercising several times a week, at times climbing for 2 hours every day after work, I developed chronic health issues like acid reflux and later GERD, frequent debilitating migraines, and a ton of trouble sleeping. On top of all this, I wasn't putting on any muscle mass no matter how hard I trained or how often I trained. It didn't make any sense to me. A tablespoon of peanut butter has about 4 grams of protein, so I was eating anywhere from 16 grams to 48 grams of protein per day from peanut butter alone. Eventually I said screw it and stopped eating peanut butter altogether, instead replacing it with other nutrient-dense foods. In 1 month after changing my diet, I gained 6 pounds of muscle mass and had so much energy that I stopped drinking coffee. But I'm wondering, what was it about the peanut butter that was keeping me from putting on muscle mass no matter how hard I tried? Before we get into the details, I just wanted to say that I'm a normal person trying to make sense out of things. Nothing in my videos is advice of any kind, and today's video refers to my own personal metabolic health and experience, so your mileage may vary. I never would have guessed that those small, delicious, fatty f***ing ground peas were keeping me from gaining muscle mass. Seriously. And the reason for this is probably anti-nutrients. You can basically think of anti-nutrients as compounds that break into your house and steal everything you need to function. The worst part is that by eating too many foods that are high in anti-nutrients, you're basically inviting them into your house to steal all of your stuff repeatedly. Okay, so comparing anti-nutrients to thieves isn't exactly fair though, because for the most part they're actually defense tactics that plants use to deter animals from eating them, which would sort of make them our enemy. And in this video, peanut butter is the enemy, or at least my enemy. So anyway, some of the most common anti-nutrients are lectins, oxalates, and phytic acid. But in peanuts, there are also protease inhibitors and the possibility of concentrations of alpha-toxins, depending on where you live and what the local laws on peanut farming, processing, and storage are. Lectins, oxalates, and phytic acid all share a trick that can really mess some of us up. They bind to certain nutrients like minerals, proteins, or even carbohydrates and make it extremely difficult for our bodies to absorb those nutrients. The term for this type of chemical binding is chelation, and these anti-nutrients can bind to things like calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, preventing your body from absorbing them. So if we think about it, lectins are like the special forces of anti-nutrients. They f stuff up. They're a protein found in plants, seeds, beans, and grains, and a little bit in fruits and vegetables, that bind to the digestive tract of whatever eats them. This process can cause digestion problems and could be one of the causes of gut permeability, or leaky gut. Oxalates aren't much better. They're sort of the black ops of anti-nutrients. Not only do they chelate minerals and other nutrients, but they can contribute to kidney stone formation. The most common type of kidney stone is made of calcium oxalate and occurs in 70 to 80% of patients with kidney stones. Oxalate crystals can also sneak behind enemy lines into other parts of the body and could be a cause of chronic pain, like joint pain. Phytic acid is the third branch of the plant defense military, robbing you of minerals and other nutrients. Phytic acid's second line of attack is interfering with how protein is digested in your body. It can also inhibit enzymes like pepsin, amylase, and trypsin, which are used to break down proteins and starches in your stomach and small intestine. Are you seeing any patterns here? I was eating 2 to 6 tablespoons of peanut butter per day, and that doesn't include other foods like hummus, beans, tofu, spinach, or other foods that I was eating that contain these compounds. But those are just the defense antinutrients in peanuts. We also need to talk about protease inhibitors and alpha-toxins. Protease inhibitors make digesting proteins more difficult by interfering with enzymes like trypsin and chymotrypsin that break proteins down into components that our bodies can use. This means that if we eat a diet with foods that are high in protease inhibitors but low in protein, we could be in some trouble. And then there's the controversial issue of alpha-toxins. Alpha-toxins are toxins produced by molds like Aspergillus flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus. If you're exposed to a huge dose of alpha-toxins at once, you can throw up, have abdominal pain, convulse, go into a coma, or possibly expire. That means death. Alpha-toxins also damage the liver and can potentially lead to an increased risk of liver cancer. Generally, if you're in the US, peanuts shouldn't have an alpha-toxin content of more than 15 parts per billion, which sounds pretty small, but it's worth noting that some studies, like this one from Taiwan, suggest limiting alpha-toxin content in peanuts to 4 parts per billion to decrease exposure from imported peanut products. So, I was eating food daily that can decrease my body's ability to absorb essential nutrients, minerals, and proteins. No wonder I wasn't gaining any muscle mass. No wonder my acid reflux was getting worse. And no wonder I was having chronic migraines and trouble sleeping. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure there were other foods and factors contributing to my poor health. Processed breads used to make the peanut butter sandwiches, high amounts of soy in the form of tofu and other foods, wheat, ultra-processed carbs, and seed oils, and probably not nearly enough protein from meat and subsequently not enough nutrients from that meat. So what little nutrients I thought I was eating to begin with could have been chelated by plant defense chemicals and cleared out from my body every morning, which would really explain why I had no energy, needed coffee to survive, had an ulcer in my esophagus, and couldn't gain weight no matter how hard I worked out. F***ing A. So, 365 days after eliminating peanuts and every other nut or legume from my diet and eating mostly meat, eggs, and a little bit of dairy and fruit, my body has completely changed. My ulcer is healing and acid reflux is in remission, my digestion is better, my sleep is phenomenal, and my migraines are pretty much gone. I should also mention that I have a different body type than a lot of people. It's extremely difficult for me to gain weight in general, no matter how much I eat. So gaining 6 pounds of muscle mass in a month after changing my diet is nothing short of a miracle in my mind. The thing about it is, I really do love the taste of peanut butter. I really love that chocolate ice cream with the peanut butter swirls in it. And I miss it sometimes, but I don't think I will have it anytime soon. It's also worth noting that cooking or blanching foods can lower the amounts of anti-nutrients in them, but honestly, eliminating them might be better for some of us, and it definitely was for me. Damn, well, if you made it this far, thanks a ton for watching. Is there a food that you stopped eating and saw sort of unbelievable improvements in your health? Do you think peanuts can prevent our bodies from absorbing nutrients? Or have you found a dietary solution that works best for you? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the like button and subscribe. A huge thanks to everyone who's reached out via email and comments. I can't believe the channel has reached over 500 subscribers. I'm so thankful for all of you watching and really love reading about your experiences in the comments. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all solution in terms of health or diet or politics or anything really in life, and I think it's perfectly okay to be in the middle. We don't need to belong to teams or tribes, and even if we disagree, we can still and should still talk with each other and keep having these conversations. And with that, I wanted to say thanks again and take care.